you let Goldman Sachs or one of the others manage your money for you.
Okay.
And so there was about 20 of us in line waiting to hit with Federer, and there's all these young guys, college students, about 6'2", 6'3", and ex-tennis players, and then there was me, 80 years old there, and I think I won the crowd over because Federer would hit it right directly to me perfectly. He's quite a gentleman. And then I'd hit it back, and I was even grunting. I was hitting it. And then they went like this. Then I wasn't getting by him, so I lobbed over him, and the crowd went because it went out. But it was so much fun playing against a gentleman like Federer. He was really great.
Impressive. Well, yeah, tell us more about your journey.
Okay. First, I would like to say this is a Henry Resources journey, and I've got with me my wife, Paula Henry, and right there, and Rick Fletcher, our chief counsel, who's now on the board of TPPF. So we want to not only give our money, but give our time.
Well, yeah, see, this is your daughter here. Is your wife?
We've been married for 50 years. So, she's 9 years younger than I am. So let me tell you about our company. First, let me say it's nice to see all of you all here. Nice to see everyone from Midland and Todd and I. Everybody, and Ernie, and a lot of people here that have helped me reach a decision to help support the TPPF. So, and everybody up there too. Let me tell you about our story. First, you need to know that we really attempt to be a Christian company. That's very, very important to us. And we realize when you say you're a Christian company, that you have an obligation to act like one. So we try our best to act like one. In the company, we tell all the people that work there that the priorities are your God's first, family second, and then maybe a company can come in. But those two, you can't have a good company without having the Lord in first place and your family up there first. And then you can do your work well. So that's what we try to do. We've always done that through our 45-year history. But we started 45 years ago, and at that time I was working for a small company, and that company went broke. So I was looking for a job, and I went to my wife and I said, well, we've got a problem here. We've got some bad news. I'm being fired from the company, and that's not a good word to use, but I mean let go, whatever you want to say. We're not going to have an income from the company, so why don't we start our own company? So she said, that's a good idea, let's do it. So just without any hesitation whatsoever, we grew up and we like to tell poor stories, and I bet Red, you can tell a few poor stories. We had a few poor stories, and so Paula didn't have the security of having known that you could always have a paycheck. Now she was going to wonder what's going to happen, but she accepted it 100%. Started out as an engineer. I'm an engineer, got a master's degree from Oklahoma University, and I also, in starting out, I worked with a geologist, Bob Landenberger, who was also with the company that folded. And so we started the company. We had, Paul and I had 2 kids, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 2 girls, and then we had a mortgage on our house, and we had no savings. So you can literally say we started out with 0. So if you try to figure out the percentage growth of 0, it's pretty high. We grew the company pretty fast, actually not too fast. It took us 7 years to make our first $1 million. But the Bible says income or riches grown slowly be grown successfully. So if you can grow it slowly, build it slowly, that's what we've done. We haven't done anything spectacular except towards the end of my career, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But we had a plan, and that's one of the things I recommend for all entrepreneurs is you have a plan. And our plan was really simple. First, we become consultants. Then we become operators, in that we operated drilling wells, and then we'd operate the pumpings and the tank batteries and everything after that. Then we become an oil company where we actually owned a lot of the working interest. Started out owning about 5%. Well, as a consultant, we started out and we never missed a payday. We paid ourselves the same salary we made working for this small company. So that was quite an achievement in those days. So we figured that we turned a bad news of getting fired into good news of being successful. But then we had to try to get the next step, which is becoming an operator. And 1 year into our program, we got the big break. Tesoro told us that they would let us become operators. So we stopped all our other consulting work. We just went and worked for the Tesoro group, and right around Christmas time, it seems like it always happens around Christmas time, we got more bad news. They decided not to fund our program. So where are we going to get our money to operate off of now, since we stopped doing consulting work? So we started back the consulting group again and slowly built our way back into it. Never borrowed any money, except later on when we had something to borrow against. So a year later, Hanover Planning came into our group, and this time they said that they would fund our operations. And what we were going to do is to operate, we'll turnkey a well, to the casing point. That's the drilling contractor sets casing. And we'd make $6,000 off the turnkey. Now, the reason why a company that had no assets at all could do this is we were having the drilling contractor turnkey to us. So we had no risk in it whatsoever. And so when we made $6,000, while we were consultants, we did a job on the Sprayberry field, which is the largest field out in West Texas, and the largest field in the nation, and the largest field in the world in terms of number of oil wells. So we did a job on the Sprayberry formation, and we became known as experts on the Sprayberry formation. And for that job, which took several months, we got $6,000. The same amount of money that we're going to make for drilling a well, which took us 2 or 3 days of work to do. So I didn't understand how you could make money so easily, but that was great. We Hanover, their money fell through like the other company, like Tesoro did, but they turned it to someone else that did have the money. So we were able to start in on our 663 program, which resulted us in getting started as operators. Now let's fast forward about 30 years. I'm still concentrating on the Sprayberry. We got a farm out on the Sprayberry and up in Midland County, just south of Midland. And we drilled some Sprayberry wells and included the formation below the Sprayberry, the Wolf Camp. Now our predecessor in this was Arco, and they had drilled about 300 wells in the Sprayberry and the Wolf Camp. And they had taken the George Mitchell frac technique and fracked these wells, and they weren't very economical. But as they went forward, after 300 wells, they got pretty good at it. Then we took it over and we tweaked it some, and we came up with a way of making these wells economic. And it started the Wolfberry boom in Texas now. If you ever come to Midland, you'll see all these rigs drilling around there, and they're drilling in the Wolfberry. So we started the Wolfberry boom. We drilled one well close to where Arco had been drilling. Then we moved 20 miles south, drilled another well, and that well came in great too. Both wells came in great. So we knew we discovered a field that was at least 20 miles long, which is unheard of in any place. So we made the biggest discovery in West Texas in the last 50 years. Now thousands of wells have been drilled, thousands of wells have been drilled. So after drilling them, we then bought a lot of acreage. We bought about 300,000 acres out there. And then we turned everything in about July of 2008 to Concho. Made a lot of money off of that. We decided we did not want to be a big company, and 100 people were a big company for us. So we sold out to Concho. And then we rebuilt the company. And 2 years later, we sold it out to Lynn. And so between those two sales, then we had already given half the company to our kids, our 3 kids. And we set up a foundation to give the other half to. So then we're now now trying to get back in the game, and we're finally trying to get more acreage out there, and it's very difficult to do so. One of the things everybody asks me is, what do you think the future is going to be like, especially out there in the Midland, Texas area? And my take on the future is it's extremely bright. It really looks good, especially for those that have the hard rocks like we do in West Texas. Because when you drill this George Mitchell well, where you go down and you do a horizontal well and you frack the whole thing with 20 some odd stages, tremendous amount of water and sand. And when you do that, you get 6% of the oil in place, leaving behind 94% of the oil. And I think technology will find a way to get a large part of that oil out. That's why I say the future is bright. There's a tremendous amount of oil down there. Now we're doing horizontal drilling, and actually what we're doing is we're mining oil and gas. And that's where instead of drilling for it, we're mining it because it's down there. We just have to figure out how to get it out. So that's what the future is. Got several lessons that I learned.
Yeah, that's great, great. And do you tell us, where along the way did you start to get interested in some of the ideas that TPPF cares so much about?
Yes. Okay, let me tell you your ideas first, and then I'll tell you about that. When you go start something, have a plan. Our plan covered less than half a sheet of paper. But we had the plan, and we worked the plan, and it really helped. 2, when you have bad times, turn that into good times. It's not hard to do. You got to be positive. We concentrated on this break road. For the last 45 years, we've worked in this break road. And it helps to know the area you're working in. We have a tremendous amount of experience in it. We know it. And that's how we're able to bring the George Mitchell frac technique into there. And also, people say, since we're able to accumulate some wealth, they said that you were really lucky, and they're right. I was lucky, but I like to say the harder you work, the luckier you get. And the George Mitchell has done so much for the oil industry. But we are taking what he has done and improving on it almost on a daily basis. You're seeing oil technology improve rapidly. And they say solar and wind is improving. We're improving faster. And we're able to get oil out. If you give us $70 oil, we can do it economically. It can be done. So don't bet against technology. And also, one of the things we have in the motto in our company is only those that are doing things are making mistakes. So if you're doing nothing, you're going to sit around and do things. But if you're making mistakes, just don't make that same mistake too much. Please, because some mistakes can cost us $1 million or more. So, but how did I get interested? You say,
yeah, sure. Just real quick. What was your first interest
Okay.
there?
I was, since I turned the business over many years ago to other people to do all the work, I had some free time, so I spent my time working in nonprofits in Midland, Texas. And one of the nonprofits I worked for was the Permian Basin Petroleum Association. And Permian Basin Petroleum Association is the is the business association, or the political association of West Texas, and it's in Midland, Texas. So I was president at that time, and I noticed that of all of our membership, which was several hundred, only about 10% really contributed time and money to the company and to the nonprofit institute. And I said, do I want to be the 90% that tag along and don't do anything? Or do I want to be the 10% in the forefront that make a difference? I noticed in Austin that money makes a difference. You talk about one person, one vote. I don't need to write Austin, but it's more like $1, one vote. So money will make a difference. So we've got Rick to help us with this, to help us work with, and we notice with, I think TPPF is on the forefront, is a spear edge and a defining arm of our industry, and they can get out there and get things done. That's why I want to go with TPPF.
Yeah.
And I want to get things done politically. I gave a speech the other day, and I said that you don't have to worry about the oil. The oil is there. What you have to worry about is EPA, the endangered species, the government things. That's much more threatening to our industry than lack of technology.
Good word. Well, Brad, I want to put you on the spot here if I could. I'm new to this state, as I mentioned earlier, and there's some conversation here today